If you don't want her back, stop sleeping with her.
You had 2 women pregnant at the same time?
She pays more attention to my brother.
I'm gonna have sex with my ex, which is your current boyfriend.
She wants me to acknowledge that child.
You all just get back running around again.
Maybe because he is so white.
A feeling. We're not talking about feeling.
The twins were not his.
Because I get to see the big picture.
Mr. Hughes was in one hell of a heated position in that courtroom. Trust me, it felt like the end of the world from the expression he had on his face. He was stuck between his mother and his ex-girlfriend. I mean, for any man being in such a situation would most definitely feel like the worst nightmare anyone could ever have. Ms. McBirth, who happened to be his mom, was no fan of his girlfriend at all. To make things worse, there was a baby in the mix. Trust me, this case was more intense than a World Cup match, huh?
Mr. Hughes, you say you're stuck between your mother and your ex-girlfriend who are in a heated dispute in court today. Ms. McBirth, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove your son, Kakitho Hughes, is not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son, Elijah Jackson. Furthermore, you're suing Ms. Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character.
Trust me, this fight was not between Mr. Hughes and his ex-girlfriend. The person who wanted to go to war was Ms. McBirth. When I say go to war, trust me, she was ready to fight his ex-girlfriend to the death. Ms. McBirth was in that courtroom for just one reason, to prove that her son's ex-girlfriend's child could never be his. Oh, you could tell she had nothing but hate for Ms. Jackson. The question now is, where did all that hate come from? I mean, you can't just wake up and decide to hate an individual.
She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring? Piece of evidence, Jerome, may I
Yes.
see that, please? This is a photo of your son and the child in question,
Right.
and you say the child looks nothing like your son.
There was no changing her mind, all right. Ms. McBirth was firm on her decision that there was no way her son could have fathered the baby. Ms. Jackson, who happened to be the hated ex-girlfriend in the picture, was asked why she was getting so much hate from her ex-boyfriend's mom. She claimed she had no clue as to why that was happening. For some reason, I don't believe that's true. There's something she's definitely not saying. The truth won't stay hidden forever.
Why do you think she's in so much doubt over your child?
I have no idea, to be honest. Maybe because he is so white.
Because he all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Whatever.
Let me understand this relationship. So how long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Hughes?
For maybe about 15, 18 months.
To tell you how determined she was, Ms. McBirth brought some backup to the courtroom. Ms. Terrell, who happened to be Mr. Hughes' sister, was her back, and believe me when I tell you, she was one hell of a back. It was as if Ms. Terrell and Ms. McBirth had been best friends all their lives with the way they backed each other up in the courtroom. Ms. Terrell said they never for once knew Ms. Jackson to be Mr. Hughes' girlfriend at all. All they knew was she was trying to pin the baby on them, and there was no way they were going to allow it to happen. Trust me, it was petty intense.
She's never was a girlfriend. You are a vampire. You are just a fly-by-night. We didn't know anything about you. He's been in a relationship for 10 years. So
Mr. Hughes has.
10 years.
In
He got
10
2
years.
babies
He's been
by
in a relationship
another
for 2
woman,
years,
and
for 10
those
years.
are my grandchildren.
For 10 years. So all she basically was for him was a snack cake on the side of his meal.
Thank
There was
you.
nothing more.
Thank you. A side chick.
And it's all she has done is she's been trying to put the baby on us.
There was no breathing space for Ms. Jackson. Trust me, the moment she tried to defend herself, they came at her with full force. It was starting to feel like they had a personal vendetta against Ms. Jackson. Honestly, looking at the situation, you honestly think Ms. Jackson was on trial for murder. But Ms. Terrell was dropping some heavy truth bombs in the courtroom. She claimed Ms. Jackson had told her previously that she had no idea who the baby daddy was.
First, she's changed her story up different times about who's the father. At first, when I first met the girl, she said, okay, I asked her, I said, okay, this is my brother's baby. She said, yes. I said, do you know or do you think? She said, I think. So when we asked while she was pregnant, we asked her for a DNA test.
And what did she say?
She was like, oh, okay. She was all for it. At that time frame, she was all for it, the DNA test.
There were so many accusations flying around in that courtroom. This has to be one of the most heated situations in paternity court because it was just not willing to end. I mean, where did these women even get all that energy to yell at each other? Isn't it draining? Anyway, as they kept arguing at the top of their voices, more secrets started to pop out. There was a whole skeleton of secrets waiting to be exposed.
I'm sick of it.
You
I get
see-
babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick
I'm not
of
dropping
it.
it.
But
And
Miss-
it stopped
What she
today.
does- what
Because
she
that
does-
baby is
here-
not my son.
Here's the thing that she
It
does.
is.
Here's the
I'm sorry.
That's a lie.
Yes, it is.
No,
That's
it's
a
not.
lie. That's a lie.
First of all, she's a liar because you just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last week.
Hello?
Oh, ma'am.
Yes,
that
you
is
did.
not
Yes,
true.
you did. Yes, you
There's
did.
some hoes in this
That
house.
is not true.
Yes, it is.
Miss McBirth.
Yes, it is.
Miss McBirth.
Finally, Mr. Hughes gets to talk. At some point, it was starting to look like he wasn't going to say anything at all in the courtroom. He walks up to the heated podium and says things that will leave you speechless. You would think he was going to pick Ms. Jackson's side, but trust me, that wasn't the case in this scenario. He played the leave me out of it card and decided he wasn't going to pick any sides in this brawl between his mom and his ex-girlfriend. But from the look in his eyes, you could tell he wanted the baby to be his.
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, you know, so
That child is not my son's, okay?
man,
She got men's coming and going
got
in and
your
out of her
right.
house.
my
We
father's
don't
a
know.
blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude, so
How you know? He just gonna
Blonde
say that
and blue
because,
eyes.
you know, she gonna freak him after this.
It's high time we brought this paternity war zone to a close. It's been one tricky ride here, but all that suspense is about to be over. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth.
Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
No! That's not true. You a lying trick. What did you do?
It's Mr. Hughes' son. And everything you're saying right now,
Mr. Cedeno was in the courtroom today to clear his name from the allegations of him being a father. He believed he was done with Ms. Ramirez, and he no longer had any kind of feelings for her. Trust me, from his expressions, you could tell he wasn't joking. He even climbed that she was trying to pin the baby on him just so she could have him back in her life. Could you imagine that? Ms. Ramirez claimed Mr. Cedeno got another woman pregnant while she was conceiving her baby, and now he's covering his tracks by pretending he isn't the father.
Mr. Cedeno, you are seeking the results of a paternity test for Ms. Ramirez's 1.5-month-old daughter, Aislinn. You claim you two broke up and now you have no feelings for Ms. Ramirez whatsoever. You say she's claiming you are her baby's father.
Apparently, Mr. Cedeno was Ms. Ramirez's everything. At least so she claimed. From her first love to her first boyfriend and everything after that, she was pretty hurt that he would want to deny her and her daughter, and also claimed she was trying to pin a baby they both welcomed into this world in him. If I were in her shoes, I would also feel very betrayed.
I'm very shocked. I'm very hurt that he would even deny her. He's my first love. He's my first boyfriend, my first everything. And I'm tired of him sending me mixed signals. He comes to my house and he tells me he doesn't love me, he doesn't want to be with me, but yet he's always trying to hug up on me. He tries to sleep with me.
What you're about to hear will make you ask if Ms. Ramirez was a child, because only kids would do something so petty. Apparently, Ms. Ramirez was in contact with his girlfriend. After she and Mr. Cedeno had split up, she told his new girlfriend that she was going to sleep with him, regardless of the fact that he was in another relationship. She wasn't bluffing though. She actually did make the phone call. What happened right after will leave you speechless.
I told her that I was gonna sleep with him and she told me to prove it. So when we were having sex, I called her on the phone so that she could hear.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You got on the phone with his girlfriend. I
Yes.
gotta get this. You said, I'm gonna have sex with my ex.
With a smile on his face, Mr. Cedeno didn't deny that it happened. The courtroom was turning into a bloodbath, believe me. It was time for Mr. Cedeno to talk about the doubts he had about the child Ms. Ramirez claimed was his. It was pretty funny because Mr. Cedeno and Ms. Ramirez were still very intimate while he still had a girlfriend. He tried to deny that it happened only once, but Ms. Ramirez was quite certain that their business had been going on for quite some time. Looks like there's no escaping this truth, Mr. Cedeno.
It did happen. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. And I was with my girlfriend when it did, and I have pretty much my list of doubts of why I pretty much think Aislinn's not mine.
So despite the fact that you're admitting that you do still sleep with Ms. Ramirez, even though you're in another relationship?
Yes, it happened. I slipped up one night.
Mr. Cedeno couldn't even keep his stories in check. Funny enough, the child in question wasn't the only child he had with Ms. Ramirez. He had 2 other kids in the equation, but was very certain that the current child in question was definitely not his. I mean, how does that make sense in any way? To make things even funny, he claimed that when he went to visit Ms. Ramirez and check on his other kids with her, he was the victim in the situation. I'm sorry you were the what? He is very delusional if you ask me.
You went to visit your children and end up visiting your girlfriend.
Yeah, and I had pretty much fallen victim that day.
You fell victim.
How are you falling a victim when you're the one that initiates
Fell
it?
victim.
He's the one that initiates it.
You admit to having sex with her,
Yes.
but you claim the child in question, Aislinn, is not yours.
Mr. Cedeno had a long list of doubts that made him feel he couldn't be the father of her third child. The list was unending. He claimed the pregnancy happened way too fast, and he was sure the period they both had sex didn't add up to her getting pregnant. He didn't just stop there, all right. He claimed she slept with another man around the window of conception, which would also mean that there is no way he can be the father. Ms. Ramirez, on the other hand, denied it all.
Like, there was a year between my son and my daughter, and then she had this third kid, which I wasn't even around her that much long of time to even for me to be the father. And if I was, why wouldn't she put me on the...
So you're saying that when you were with her, when you all were in a relationship, it took a year to conceive your first child.
Yes.
And then your second child, it took 6 months.
6 months.
It was a blaming contest in the courtroom, and they were very good at playing it. Ms. Ramirez claimed he never enjoyed spending time with her kids. She said every time he came to pick them up, he was always so eager to drop them off. I'm sure you're wondering why. Well, his current girlfriend didn't want him to spend any time with her. In his defense, he said anytime he went to visit the kids, she also tried to sleep with him. On several occasions, he tried to resist, but as she seemed very persistent, they always ended up having sex. Wow.
I let him take the kids. He'll say he's gonna take the kids for a few days. He calls me hours later talking about, I need to drop them off. I need to go do something. He doesn't like to keep them. So I am more comfortable with him watching them at my house. And what's the point of taking them if you want to return them?
The cat started to fly out of the box, and Ms. Ramirez started to come clean about why she actually decided to get pregnant. Her reason was nothing short of mind-blowing. She was very jealous of Mr. Cedeno's new girlfriend, and the moment she found out she was pregnant, she decided to have his child too. She wanted him to focus all his attention on her since she already had 2 kids with him. A third one would have made everything perfect. Maybe Mr. Ramirez was right. After all, she was definitely trying to trap him and win him over.
I did it to get back at her, which is, I feel bad for it. Just, I love my daughter and I got pregnant for the wrong reasons, but that's why I did it.
So is that why you had an ovulation calendar?
You admitted to the court that you
I
keep
have an
ovulation
calendar because I keep track of my monthly cycle.
Well, it's finally time to bring the baby daddy drama to a close. There was a lot of fighting and accusations between these two, Mr. Cedeno and Ms. Ramirez. The question still remains, people. Who is the father of the baby? Well, let's find that out, shall we?
Mr. Cedeno, you are her father.
I told you, she is your baby. Now you can't deny her.
You look surprised.
A little bit.
I'm not surprised. That's how I know you were the father. I had no doubt in my mind.
Now, I can promise you that this particular case will leave you imagining the wildest things and asking yourself, how can this even be possible? Well, I hope you're ready, guys, because you are definitely about to be wowed.
Mr. Morris, you're here because you say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter, London, and you intend to rectify that issue today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It all started in an outrageous manner, with Mr. Morris claiming to have only fathered one child out of the pair of twins that were born by his girlfriend, Ms. Thorpe. Does that even make any sense? How do you father one child out of a pair of twins? Damn!
Originally, I was believed that both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine. And then after that, different things happened that made me believe just London was.
We've examined this issue completely in this courtroom, and we do know it's possible for a man to be the father of one of 2 fraternal twins.
Now, their relationship didn't particularly start off as the typical Sleeping Beauty and Princess Charming kind of story. There were loopholes, trust me, and Ms. Thorpe didn't waste any time in stating them without hesitation.
Before anything, we were friends, so I don't even understand why he's even putting me through this. I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. So when that time happened, I got upset and I started messing with another guy.
Okay, and this was after you were already intimate with Mr. Morris.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Thorpe finds out she's pregnant, and of course, she tells Mr. Morris. Is he happy about it? Well, he sure is. And he seems like the happiest man in the world. But all good things don't last now, do they? Let's find out.
I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy. Like, I went all out. I bought 2 of everything. It cost a lot. It was bassinets here, strollers there, car seats. Moved her into a family member house during her pregnancy. Try to make her as comfortable as possible. She hungry every day.
In no time, the sweet baby daddy turned into the doubtful baby daddy. He starts asking himself questions like, are they really mine? Should I get a DNA test done? What if she lied to me from the beginning? All shades of doubt start to settle in Mr. Morris's head.
But you do understand that you didn't even use the swabs right.
I would just hope, I don't know. Like I said, so.
No, you don't.
I don't, I didn't.
I mean, the truth is you don't. You was making something up.
But everything was just confusing. So.
It was.
And I was lost. That's why we're here today.
And it is.
Now, finding out the twins aren't his, he texts his baby mama, being all angry and furious. When he doesn't get a reply from her, what he does next will leave you speechless. He goes to social media and posts the news everywhere, saying he isn't the kid and his baby mama lied to him. Trust me, he's one crazy person.
I was at work at the time. He actually texted me and told me that the DNA test came back and that the twins were not his. At the time, I didn't respond automatically because, like I said, I was at work. So he ended up getting very upset and ended up posting it all over social media and telling everybody. He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
The bombshells continue to drop and things start to blow out of proportion. Another surprise comes in and boom, Mr. Morris wasn't the regular old Mr. Good Guy he was claiming to be. He got another woman pregnant. Oops, now that's a lot from him. Oh, trust me, Judge Lauren was about to lose her cool.
You had 2 women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you on team too much all the way around. All the way around.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had another baby by another woman at the same time.
The same reason when I was telling Imani why I couldn't be in a relationship with her, because I was in a long-time relationship with someone else. We was on a break then.
Mr. Morris went on to talk about the relationship he had built with the twins. Trust me, what he said would make your jaws drop from your mouth. He said the twins didn't even call him daddy. They referred to him as Uncle Twan. Oh, trust me, I'm as speechless as you are right now, because who is Uncle Twan?
What kind of relationship do you have with the twins now?
Great.
They call you daddy?
No.
They're 4.
They call me Uncle Twan.
Uncle Twan?
Yes.
Boy, you about crazy. You just got too much going on. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell them to.
Oh, you told them to, Miss Thorpe?
No, Your Honor, they just developed that.
Well, the suspense is finally over and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Morris and Ms. Thorpe. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth. Get ready, paternity folks.
Mr. Morris, you are not the father. Miss Thorpe, somewhere inside of you, you knew this was a very real possibility. I can see your reaction. Who is their father?
The other guy I was talking to.